Four types of karma, which is Pralabdha karma, Kriyaman karma, Sinchit karma, and Adi karma. And the five major stages of transcending, clearing, working out the stored karmas. What is karma? Karma is a law that demands every living being, from a smallest of a living cell to the archangel, from mind and soul to the creator of the three worlds, Lord Brahma. Everyone must receive exact balance of accounts, the precise compensation for each and every act. And so this is karma. There are four types of karma. One is called Pralabdha karma, which means fate, destiny. It is that which has been earned in the previous lives, and that which is relevant to this life as fate or destiny of this life. Not all is predestined, but what is in store as Pralabdha karma, that will unfold. So this karma must be paid off in this lifetime. It must be lived out to the full extent, and there is no escape from this rule. It's not controlled by your conscious will or intention. So it's not something that you can choose yourself or you can change as such. The second kind of karma is called Sinchit karma. It is that which separates the spirit from its origin, because this karma blocks the channels of the spirit, the light and sound channels, all the way to the divine regions, the origin of the spirit. It is like a reserved karma. It is drawn upon again, not by the will of individual, but by the will of the lords of karma. It's like a reserve, like a bank account, we may say, where you have a deposit and when you need it, you take it out. And there are lords of karma which function at the planetary level, solar system level, galactic level, cosmic regions level, even Brahmanda level, but they're much more positive and helpful. The third kind of karma is called Kriyaman, the will intended. It is what you are creating during your day-to-day life in this incarnation. So if you, with your ignorance of the mind or some circumstances come up and you decide to do something bad, you accumulate more karma. So this is called Kriyaman. Direct consequences of thoughts, words, and deeds. Overcoming this type of karma is achieved by, of course, spiritual work and starting to realize the past behavior and changing your ways. And the fourth type of karma, it is the soul purpose karma, Adi karma. It is between the soul and its origin in Satpurush. It is the initiations of the soul that are yet not taken. This karma is in the higher unconsciousness. It is the vast area of potentiality that represents your spiritual evolution, your gifts, spiritual powers, your abilities to help others, which can be opened, the gifts of the soul. When a person meets a Sadguru, it becomes the biggest gift in their life, not only this life, for their soul. So when Sadguru takes someone as a disciple, that fact alters the karmic status. So your whole destiny undergoes complete change. That all depends on the will of the Sadguru, of the master. Essentially, the Sadguru has an overview of what is stored for you, how to deal with that, supervising the works, how to overcome it. The Sadguru is superior to all other lords of destiny, all other lords of karma. Because without Sadguru, the soul is completely subject to the lords of karma, to the cycles of existence. But when the soul meets Sadguru, then the teacher takes over this whole process. So the Sadguru may not resolve your Pralabdha karma, your destiny karma, but may assist in many ways. Remember that Pralabdha karma cannot be changed. And for example, if we know that tomorrow is gonna rain, a Sadguru will tell you, get your coat, bring umbrella, it's gonna be fine. But if you don't know that and you walk out with your t-shirt and your slippers out, you will get cold and you will fall sick. The teacher doesn't interfere with pralabdha karma because that is fate. It must be undergone. However, other three types of karma, this is where a teacher can assist in many, many ways. When the student finds himself obligated to go through the karma, to clean it all out, when life ends, the record will be free. It will be free forever. It will be cleared out. The master does this out of love and never burdens with too much work or too much to handle for you because you're always advised and given as much as you can handle. And sometimes the teacher can take over certain of your karmas. There were times when I would see that a person cannot handle something and I take it over and I process it for them. Of course, this is much additional work to be done, but sometimes it can be done. So the effect of the four karmas can be affected by practices as well, mainly related to the divine light and sound stream. Because this is where we revert and raise internally the current of the spirit and your soul along the Shabd, the divine light and sound stream. And this begins as we do in each meditation at your third eye center, the point between your eyebrows. So in this way, all the karmas can be exhausted, eradicated in, well, generally one or two lifetimes, generally, commonly with Sadgurus. I will start with that first, and then I'll explain what we do. So generally with Sadgurus, all these karmas can be eradicated, worked out in one or two lifetimes. If a student is a bit slow in meditation and mingles among desires for pleasures and worldly endeavors in their mind to some extent, upon meeting of Sadguru, it might take 3 lifetimes. Of course, it is a relationship between the teacher and the student or disciple and the Sadguru where a mutual work needs to be done. But when the soul begins to experience the lightness, the bliss, the freedom, the relief of clearing of these karmas, the soul realizes that it's been waiting for this long, long, long time. And this is the big difference between wanting to realize something. Oh, I want to realize awareness. I want to realize the nature of God. I want to get more powers and heal people and have all sorts of abilities. No, not that kind of thing. When the soul realizes the relief from the karmas, being unbounded by them, this is what it has been waiting for a long, long time. Because many times when people seek enlightenment, they get fascinated by displays of powers. Oh, this yogi can levitate, let's go to him. Or he speaks nicely about presence or about other states of consciousness. And yes, I would like to realize that. Of course, this can be a good motivation to begin your practice. It can be a good motivation to step onto your spiritual path and start moving along it. But the biggest of all is when the soul realizes what truly is all this creation about. And the realizations are assistive methods. So as Hazur Baba Sawan Singh said, we're undergoing our fate in which we have no choice, but we do have the choice to work anew as we please for our future. So I will pause here to say that he says that we are undergoing our fate, meaning that the Pralabdha karma carries on. We have to live through it. But we do have a choice from this moment to start clearing things out, to create a better future. It continues, we are therefore at present doing a dual function. In regard to fate, we're helpless. But in new actions, we have free hand to sow for the future. Now let's discuss the working out of karmas. So, as I mentioned, generally, upon meeting of Sadguru, the soul will have 2 to 3 lifetimes, 1, 2, or 3 lifetimes to finish off the karmas. It highly depends on the closeness and how often the meetings are and how speedily and readily the work is being done. As one of the Sadhgurus said that rather than having 1,000 interested people in spirituality, I would have one absolutely dedicated disciple who is willing to go all the way, who is willing to complete all of it. There are thousands, especially in India. Very quickly, a lot of people can flock around and everybody's interested. But their interest is cultural. The capacity to truly work on oneself, only few have. These are much more rare souls. And even rarer those who are willing to go all the way. However, those privileged souls who have much closer access to a Sadguru can work through all the karma in this lifetime. And there is a reason why we instruct first to take a highway to full consciousness, because we overcome some major obstacles that block your way. And you increase your capacity immensely to meet everything, to be capable to take care of yourself, to become more natural of who you really are. And having that to some degree, according to the levels of consciousness, it becomes much, much easier and viable and doable to do the second great works of completion of karmas. So coming back to that, all the karmas may be cleared in as little as 4 years and as long as it will take you. Some brave souls who really, really are hard on, and some students already are speeding along their track of karma clearing. Their souls are already advancing. There is a good bunch of students who already are doing this. And for some of them, it might take as little as 4 years. And for those who are a bit slower, it will proportionally take longer. Now, how does that happen? It happens because, unlike other traditions, which are of the high nature, and I will give an example of a Sikh branch which is called Surat Shabd Yoga. In this tradition, the masters give mantras to align, initiate into the divine light and sound stream. But these mantras are secretive, but they're general. They're general. They're for specific regions. However, what we do is when you reach a certain stage of your level of consciousness, particularly divine love, on the ascension to the full consciousness, divine love is closer towards full consciousness. And when you reach that stage, then we do a reading of your unique soul seed mantra, which is uniquely your soul seed mantra. And what we do is we make a mantra yoga activation to activate it so that your seed of the soul starts to vibrate mantramically and starts to produce a sound. And it's always unique to each individual. And there's a highly complex way of reading it, which only a Sadguru can read. If somebody reads who is not initiated below, they may read, bells and whistles and whatever they will hear in their ears above. So very specifically, this is done very uniquely to that specific individual. And then a very specific meditation technique is given. And it has to be followed to the letter very specifically. And that is how it is extremely highly effective. It is not general. It is extremely highly effective. And then from time to time, it is necessary to meet up individually, to make certain attunements, alignments, to help you translate into the higher octave, to assist with your karmas that you can't take care of by yourself, because you can do your homework, but the other part, much greater part, actually 90% of work is on my shoulders, on the higher planes to assist you. So therefore, this is a highly complex work. And as you now begin to understand, there are 4 types of karmas, which essentially are, if you visualize strings or streams, nadis, and they're filled with goo. The light doesn't go through them. The energy doesn't flow well through them. And the process of clearing them is highly complex. These nadis, these streams and strings are connected with all of your vehicles of consciousness. There are many vehicles of consciousness. Some of you are familiar with, for example, the 4 lower bodies, which is astral, emotional, etheric, lower mental. These are all lower bodies. Then there is a higher self, which is equated to the light body. These are the ones that you're familiar with, the I am presence. There are also other vehicles of consciousness in between, the reflective soul body, which is just above the higher self, in between I am presence. You have a Christed vehicle of consciousness, the lower Christ itself, the higher Christ itself, the solar angel form, and many other vehicles of consciousness on each of the major planes of existence. And they're all are interlinked, interconnected, and they all have these highways of channels like fiber optic cables. And a fiber optic cable is where here on Earth the internet travels through. And if it's filled with goo and if it's nearly 90% blocked, not much internet will come through it. You're not going to get a good video out of it or any data. So the same way, all these channels within you, nadis and so on, they're like fiber optic cables connecting you higher up, and they all need to be cleared and aligned. And particularly of your soul and your spirit. They go hand in hand. So now let's overview the 5 major steps of how this clearing happens among each of the 4 types of karma. I will not go into too much detail, but we will briefly overview it just so you have a broad idea. So the 5 major states are the unawakened person who hasn't done anything yet. Then there is the one who begins to awaken spiritually, who starts to work on himself or herself. That's the second stage. The third stage is becoming a disciple, meaning a dedicated person who works closely with a teacher who is initiated and who can do their homework and attend the satsangs, and just like all of you, you're working every day in yourself. The fourth stage is called the initiate, meaning the one who already achieved a certain higher degree of mastery over certain regions. Now, this is a very broad definition, but the real definition of it actually is the one who is highly attained. The initiate is the one who basically becomes a teacher already. And I'm speaking of the real definition of what that really means in terms of this view of karma clearings. So I need to define it more specifically. So it would be a person who attained a certain mastery and now he or she is helping a Sadguru as a helping hand, and he can or she can take on certain students and help them out and 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 and, and basically follow the lineage and be of service in that capacity. So the ones who have done the teacher training course, especially module 2, and who already work with students and they're already having their students awakening, and you're already getting to taste what it means to help with their issues and overcome those issues and help them awaken to a higher level of consciousness. This is more real definition of initiate. And the final degree is the liberated soul. Well, that is basically a Sadguru or a student person who has completed all the karma and now they have reached the divine as a soul advancement. Of course, this is extremely rare.